John 6, part of 19, and drawing near to the ship, then 20, he says to them, "It is I, be not afraid." Mark 6:50, and immediately he talked with them and said to them, "Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid." Matthew 14:27, but immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid." Should I have, but immediately spoke to them? And immediately he talked with them? Or, and drawing near to the ship, but he says to them. Well, I could use but at the beginning because that is in John. It wouldn't make sense to say he draws near, but says to them. Because the but he says is opposite to they were afraid. Try it out with fear. So maybe I should begin with that. Now, I did use but at the beginning of this sentence. When the disciples all saw him, because that was opposite to it actually being Jesus. And leading to, they supposed it was a spirit. So I'm going to leave it out now. I'm going to go with and from Mark. So should I say, and immediately Jesus drawing near to the ship says to them? He does draw near to the ship and he speaks. So which happens immediately? Does he speak and then draw near? I don't think that would work, because in John it says he's drawing near to the ship in verse 19, and then in verse 20 he says to them, "It is I." So I think I should put drawing near first. Maybe I should save immediately for when he speaks and just start with and Jesus drawing near to the ship immediately spoke to them. I'd rather have spoke than talked. Talked with them. Spoke to them or spoke with them. I think spoke to them is better. Because at first he's not having a conversation, he's just telling them, "Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid." You could say it's talked because Peter responds and says, "Lord, if it be you, bid me come to you." No, I think it works best to say he spoke to them instead of talked to or talked with. Or I could say spoke with, and immediately he spoke with them and said to them. And said to them. Yeah, that's added in Mark. In Matthew it's just saying, "Be of good cheer." Yeah, John also has says to them. So I have spoke with them first and then says to after. And I will save immediately for when he's speaking. But start with and Jesus drawing near to the ship. So and is in John and immediately from Mark. So right now it's just and Mark and John. Then Jesus from Matthew. back to John, drawing near to the ship. And Jesus drawing near to the ship, now, immediately, from Mark and Matthew. Immediately spoke from Matthew. With is in Mark. With, not to them. With them, that's both. Now Mark has and said to them. Matthew just has saying. John has but he says to them. So I could say immediately spoke with them and says to them, or and said. Well, spoke is past, so I'll have said, so it's also past. Said is Mark only, but and is Mark and John, right? No, it's not. There's just but he says to them. And it's just saying, so it's still only Mark said. Now to them is Mark and John. Now what he actually says. John is just, it is I, be not afraid. Mark, be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. Matthew, be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. So, first Matthew, Mark, be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. It is I, be not afraid. John, it is I, be not afraid. Yep. All three, it is I, be not afraid. John continues, then they willingly received him into the ships. They totally skipped the story with Peter walking on the water to him. Matthew has, and Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be you, bid me come to you on the water. Mark, and he went up to them into the ship, and the wind ceased, and they were sore amazed in themselves beyond measure, and wondered. Wow, Mark skips that story as well. All right, Matthew only then. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be you, bid me come to you on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said to him, O you of little faith, wherefore did you doubt?